So, the Holt is the last level for the first DLC, and I want to say it's one of the most troublesome. Not because of what they throw at you, because yeah, that can be a bit hard, but I found that this one was not the most stable of mission. Like, for example, I had the game crash on me multiple times in the final boss fight, right? So, be ready for that if you're going to take on this challenge too. This level does introduce the Blood Makers. Those are those red. I think they're technically angels or whatever, but for all intents and purposes, they're classified as heavy demons. So these Blood Makers are just makers, right, from the base game, but they hurt a little bit more. They have actual moves. They're shielded. You have to make sure the shield goes down before you can hit them. Yada yada. After all that, though, there is an Arachnotron out here, and as you progress, there's also going to be a Dread Knight. That's why you see me kind of waiting for him as I move up. The rest of the stuff here is just imps and fodder, so kill him, don't kill him, that's up to you. But you will have to do a little bit of traversing after that. It's not much, but you just jump across these little, I don't know, fucking tentacle platforms, right? And upon doing that is the first real encounter. This one is a decent pace setter for this mission, right? Because it kind of tells you you're gonna have to deal with some bullshit, right? Immediately you get a blood maker and some makers, some imps, all that noise. Just try to make sure the blood maker does whatever move he needs to do so you can kill him. Then they're gonna spawn like what, two Cyber Mancubus and a Hell Knight. Depending on which one is possessed, it can be the Cyber Mancubus right there that I just took out or the Hell Knight. Will depend on what you're gonna do in this fight, right? So if it's the Hell Knight, take out the Cyber Mancubus, at least that one, and then take out this Hell Knight, and then you can go and fight the other Cyber Mancubus, right? But if it's the Cyber Mancubus that's possessed, I would take out everything else first and then go for him. So, you do you, however they, make you fight it. That's kind of what you gotta do. Down here, this guy doesn't really leave this area, so he won't ever be possessed. He won't ever be the one to worry about unless you're running away from the other ones, right? But as you saw, another Bloodmaker is spawned. They really throw them out like candy in this mission. New enemy type, they gotta show them off, right? So get used to fighting them quick and early. And also, if you really do have trouble with them, try to close the gap, get close, and then make them do the slam, back away. They should lower the shield after that. Then you can get them. But you saw there's some whiplashes in this encounter as well. I mean, for the most part, you know how to deal with whiplashes by now, right? You take those guys out, and there's like 4 Mancubus that spawn. Mancubi? Whatever, we've been through this, man. You take all these guys out, it may be 3, but I thought it was 4. It could be 4 still, who knows. But you will have to take out a bunch of Mancubus in this particular fight. And then once you do that, it is 4. There you go. Once you do that, I'm pretty sure that's when the Tyrant spawns. And not only the Tyrant spawns, but a Marauder spawns. Now, you would think, don't worry about the Tyrant at all, just focus Marauder, but I would argue take out the Tyrant first, take out everything else, and then fight the Marauder 1v1, making that a lot easier on you. To be fair, you do you, but that's what worked for me. There's a lot of imps in here too, and as you kill the Tyrant or imps, they spawn more and more of these things. The Tyrant doesn't spawn another one, of course, but, something's gotta take his place, so it's gonna be an imp or something. As you do that, though, I recommend fighting in this top layer. The Marauder it's got good space for him up here, so he kinda does abuse those green eye flash attacks. But there are plenty of moments in this where you can kind of see he doesn't try to do it at all. So I do recommend trying to stay on the move. Like this little spot right here, I thought would have been good, but not that good actually. Once you take out the Marauder though, this encounter is basically done. You could easily get through this with no problem. It's just, you gotta learn the spawns if you want it to be smooth like that, because as you saw, there's a lot of Mancubus, there's a lot of area denial in this fight, and there's not a lot of area for us to move that's on this top layer at least. You can go downstairs if you want, but I consider that like a death sentence. So fight up here, stay up here as much as you can, even when all the large stuff is still alive. There's no reason to go down underneath unless you have to kill that cyber mancubus, or you need like a quick pick me up on armor or something, you know. Other than that, just stay up here and get the armor from the imps or whatever. There's plenty of them, right? There's even ground pickups if you need them down here, but that's the reason why I wouldn't come down here, because this is like kind of trying to bait you in, you know? You almost feel safe. You're not safe down there, man. It's brutal. Completing that, though, you can either fight the two carcasses and the mancubus here, or you could grapple onto them and just leave like I do. Usually I would fight them in practice, but after I learned that you can just skip it, I just skipped it. These imps are really good for just a little pick-me-up on armor. Now, I did mention in a previous video that if it's possessed, you can't freeze it, but if you're quick, you can freeze this arachnotron before it spawns in, and like as it's spawning in, it does freeze, right? So this is like the one time you can actually freeze a possessed demon. It's like no other fucking way. I haven't been able to replicate that on any other possessed demon other than that one arachnotron, which makes this part a lot easier, but knowing that it's the only one you can do that to is kind of a novelty. Coming up here though, 2 Caco demons spawn after you hit the tree. Just get the arbalest ready or get your combat shotgun ready with sticky bombs, whatever you want to do. Jumping across here though, you hit this one, a mancubus is going to spawn at the end there. So, I recommend get your rockets ready, then you ballista him. The two are just interchangeable to me, so sorry, I will say it wrong sometimes. Coming into this encounter though, now it's just a couple soldier guys, right? You want to take out this turret, and then you can just climb on up. It's really not an encounter, it's really more of like traversal with a few guys in it. But if you jump down all the way, there's going to be like a revenant up here, and there's like a pinky on this tree, after you hit it, mind you. But if you're able to not go down there and just fling yourself up, none of that shit spawns. A lot safer for you. And you can just go and do the traversal instead. Actually getting through that, this is the encounter I thought I was at just a second ago. It's really easy to confuse the two. You have invisible whiplashes here, at least 2 of them, along with those soldier guys, right? You get boxed in here, so be careful. If you need to, just ice bomb them, you know, so you can actually see them and hit them. That's not the bad part. A bunch of imps are going to spawn in and just flood you if you can. Get armor off of them, get whatever you need off of them, alright? After that, it's 2 dread knights and a carcass spawns where all the imps were. If you can, take out the carcass quickly and then go to the dread knights. But I recommend just killing whatever's closest to you, really. Whatever is harming you or about to be harming you, you know, you should take that out and save yourself, basically. Don't worry about it if it's not, you know, doing anything to you, basically. Now, this section here, if you're worried about this section, I recommend just the Arbalest mod, man. It's the easiest way to take out this one part right here. The first part, at least. So this part is really, really easy in my opinion. You just hold the mod button on the Arbalest. Just shoot it whenever the Cacos pop up. The Pain Elemental will take 2, these guys take 1. There's 4 total things that spawn, 3 Cacos, 1 Pain Elemental. As you can see, you don't even get hurt if you do it properly. That's the first part of this. The second part of this spawns in a Possessed Hell Knight off of the rip. I recommend just grenade, you know, rocket launcher him. You know, instantly get rid of the spirit, and then while you can, get rid of the carcasses, whatever, but you could also just BFG up here, because there's free ammo in this exact room. So, if you feel like you can, just do it. There's no shame in it. If you have the 2 shots, it's just free ammo anyway. It'll make you get through this encounter so much easier. And mind you, if you aim it properly, you can actually do this entire section in 1 BFG shot after the possessed, you know, Hell Knight's dead. Because, I was doing that in practice, but I could never nail it down in here exactly to a T. So, you know. You do what you can there to survive, but that's my recommendation. As you can see, there's the BFG ammo that I was talking about. So, if you need it, there that is. And if you need it as well, the Mega Health is there for you. I mean, it's basically a refresher, so why wouldn't you either use it going into the second part or after it's all done? Just depends on how rough the fight was for you, right? Skipping over the traversal section, we're going to jump straight into the encounter here. There are 3 Mancubus off of the rip and at least 2 invisible whiplashes. When you take them out, even though it takes me a good minute to do so, there's going to be Caco Demons and Prowlers that spawn, and I'm pretty sure at some point there's going to be Hell Knights and Carcasses, and you kind of get the point, right? There's a buff totem in this fight as well. You have to be careful which heavy demons you're taking out for it, to spawn. I usually am, like, kind of conscious of, I've taken out X number of heavy demons as soon as I see, like, the Blood Maker. I'm getting close to the buff totem. Because when he shows up, that's whenever, you could actually spawn it if you kill him. So, you want to be a little careful. You want to kind of pace yourself, kind of like with some of the other fights we've been doing in this DLC. You want to take it easy, but also progress, obviously. Now, I'll be honest, I did do this really, really slowly. I was doing the safe rather than sorry bit. Just try to do this at your pace that you find comfortable, okay? Don't rush it. Because as you see, I took out that last one. Prowler in my face. Caco Demon right there. And Carcasses starts showing up, blocking my paths and everything. So far, it's been a decent enough encounter. Like, I could easily, get hit by a lot of these guys, lose health, lose armor, but I'm getting it all back. The makers give you full health if you headshot them. So those guys are kind of like a little health pack just waiting, and they give you ammo as well, right? Right, so it's health and ammo at the same time. There's that Blood Maker, by the way. He's standing on where the totem is going to be. So I want to be around this area when I take him out so that I can easily get to the buff totem. But as you kind of saw, stuff's kind of blocking me. They're not letting me do, some of the stuff I need to do. There's too many Carcasses still up. I don't have the freedom. I can't do the things I need to do in this encounter for it to go nicely and smoothly. So I'm just trying to improvise best I can. Take out the Blood Maker, you see instantly buff totems here, and I'm getting chased by many different things while trying to get that, and I'm getting stopped while doing it. I'm just trying to make the best out of this situation. I keep getting hit right here. I'm pretty sure a Hell Knight stops me and he tries to slam me at the top there, and dude, just looking at it is hard, alright? I get caught by something like that, I feel super shitty about it. And what do I gotta do? I gotta go all the way back. It's only 3 levels, right? Overall for the DLC, but it feels like a lot, right? But I went ahead and I did all that. And this is me showing you that, you just one-shot it with a BFG, basically, this whole shtick. So, here you go. Take out the Hell Knight. All that's nice and easy. You aim that bitch straight up, you will be okay. Maybe the Prowler survives. I think one did for me here, as you can see. But you get the ammo, you go about your business just like last time, and we're back here. All ready. Now I didn't bother looking for the helmet, because if you die in Ultra Nightmare you can find where you died and it'll tell you how you died, all that noise. I didn't bother, because it was over the edge. Barely over the edge, mind you. It fell like an inch and I died. But I also wanted to tell y'all this. At a certain point in this run, my game had fully crashed, right? So this part is actually a dramatization of what actually happened, right? I don't have that footage anymore because when I got to the boss, it actually crashed on me. Now, that's how I learned, though, that it does checkpoint it in Ultra Nightmare. If you've gotten to, like, an actual checkpoint like that, you can just resume it from there. I was able to do that. But all of this, I had to go back and do to show y'all, like, hey, this is kind of how I did it. You can kind of tell because the hands on the suit, you can see they're different from the other one. This is the suit that you get for actually beating this DLC. I think it's called Aurum, whatever. The other one, you can see the gold Praetor suit and the hands. This one is a lot smoother. The Praetor suit's got like bumps and shit for the knuckles and all that. So, kind of shows you what I mean. Although it really sucks I couldn't show y'all the original footage of me completing this part and, you know, another few fights in this mission, I do still have the actual boss fight itself that got me the suit. So at least there's that, but, you know, since I did all this, I knew I could do it again, so I just went ahead and did it all to show y'all how I ran it. And a lot of the stuff is the same, except I ran it better this time. I just had better pathing, the AI was nicer to me, whatever, man. There's a lot of factors like that. That's why I also kind of mentioned, you know, in the base game, like, you can practice as much as you want, but until you get in there, you'd never know if you're going to be able to do it. Because you can see in the practice, like, all the AI does so many different things. They can do all these different fucking moves, whatever. It depends on what they're going to do, where you're at, whatever. It can always be different. So you might as well just send it sometimes. As you can see, though, actual encounter, going back to it, the Baron spawn, I just BFG the hell out of the room, get rid of the Blood Maker. All of this is kinda textbook, except I did take some damage here and there. Sure, I was a little close to dying, but obviously it doesn't come close to where I was the last time I attempted this, right? Because I didn't even fucking get through it. So, getting through the encounter now, basically, you have to kill all those barons, you have to kill the rest of the fodder, clear the goddamn area, make sure everything is fucking clean before you can move on, right? After you do that, though, you have this very serious fight here. Two tyrants. The right one, non-possessed. Left one, possessed as all hell. Behind you, fucking Doom Hunter. So I recommend take out the non-possessed tyrant first. Take out the carcass that's here too. That's going to be a nuisance if you don't. Then, if you want, you can put a little bit of damage on the possessed tyrant. Sprinkle it a little bit if you want. Honestly, I recommend going for the Doom Hunter, because once you get him out of the way, they'll spawn a Blood Maker over here where I'm standing currently right now in that middle area, and he'll try to chase you down and do whatever. If you're over here where the Doom Hunter was, right, you have a little bit more leeway in what you can do to deal with him. As you can see, I use the BFG to rip his shield and deal damage to the possessed tyrant at the same time, so that I can kind of kill two birds, one stone. After that, it's just a quick swap, you know, fiesta over here. I just figured, fuck it, keep it simple, stupid, don't try to overthink it, just put damage on this motherfucker to get through this fight. Because this guy hits harder than some of the other guys. I mean, some. All of them, basically, because he's fucking possessed, right? Anyways, though, going through that encounter, there's two doors you can go through, left or right. I recommend the left one. All it is a bunch of pinkies, a couple cyber mancubus makers, that's really it. Bunch of blood punch upgrades and a mega health in the middle if you need it. I just went ahead and just sent it with these guys. It's just pinkies, right? So just gotta punch them. The cyber mancubus, you run up, you punch him, you shotgun him, he's gonna die. A lot of that is handled by blood punch. So just pick up the blood punches, use them, dance around the arena, try to stay in the air whenever you're not actively punching something, or even when you're punching something, do it on the way fucking down to the ground so that you're not really getting hit on the ground. You kind of can, you know, hit them and then land and then go. You know, there's just a little bit more smoothness there, but up to you. After all that, though, this is exactly where the game had crashed for me, basically. Just after this whole cutscene in the actual boss fight. You know, I like swung up after killing the Hell Knight, and I was aiming at the Mancubus. Bam. Crashed right there. So, now that you're all caught up, this is gonna be the actual boss fight that got me the suit and finished Ultra Nightmare, alright? Just be ready if you attempt this, because this is probably the hardest part of the game I have done. Even harder than some of the stuff in the second DLC. This section is just painful. Focus the Hell Knight first. Get him out of the way or you're just gonna die because of how quick he is. You get him out of there and then you can focus on the Mancubus, right? This is what I was talking about, it crashed on me, right? I would usually swing up off of the Hell Knight to get shots on him just like this, and it would just cut out, boom, right there. So, thankfully it didn't do it this time. I was able to actually do the encounter. it's going to take a good few rocket volleys to take out the Mancubus. And to be fair, he does so much fucking damage, you don't even want to be near the guy, right? So try to play your distance. Try to play rockets, something else precision-based maybe, like the ballista, whatever. If you don't have the armor, you'll see me doing this exact thing here. You get a little bit if you hit him with the hook and then you shoot him. It may take like a minute, but it's worth it. You see I have full armor now for the next part of this encounter, which it's just kill a bunch of Caco demons and dodge a bunch of the like lasers and stuff on these platforms, right? So I recommend immediately jumping to the left one, just kind of waiting. If you don't want to use Chrono Strike here as your rune, that's understandable. You could use Dazed and Confused or something, and you use the, sticky bombs to just stagger these guys, because it's about a minute, apparently, that you have to survive in here until the actual next part of the encounter starts, like the boss fight itself picks up again. So, basically just do your best to look at the floor you're on and see if it's gonna be lighting up with that red stuff there. If it's not, stay on it. If it's about to, like right now, it's gonna be switching to where I'm at and I'm not paying attention because I'm trying to get, shots on the Cacos. Make sure you don't have that happen because you're gonna take damage, okay? So, be wary. Always be looking in other places other than, where you're actively aiming. It will help you a lot here. Get in a rhythm of, you spend like 5 seconds, it feels like, on a platform, then you jump to the next one, do it again, over and over again, and then bam, next part of the fight. Now, I recommend either you sticky bomb this guy, or you stick to the precision bolt and ballista combo. Either works, they both deal amazing damage. I do not recommend you go down here at all for any, like, prolonged period of time. But at the same time, if you do go down here, don't immediately just jump back up, because sometimes the fucking boss will jump right where you're going to be at. Like, right here, he jumps basically where I'm fucking at. So, I do the smart thing, I throw saving throw on, just in case, because I'm 5 goddamn HP. I could die to somebody breathing on me, basically, right? I feel like it's the smart move. I don't have my Chrono Strike for the Blood Makers anymore, but we deal with that where we can, because that's the whole reason to use Chrono Strike here, is to slow it down so you can easily kill the Blood Makers. Now, as you see, there's a Mega Health here if you need it, but a lot of the time the boss is going to be up here. You can see the damage I'm kind of getting at. Like, I don't have all the time in the world to put damage on him because he's constantly moving. I feel like he, out of spite, will move out of where you're actively aiming. And as you see that, I'm just stupid. I threw away my one saving throw just to try to get through the portal. If the fucking Bloodmaker is anywhere close to you, don't play around with him like that. Get out of his range. It took 2 slams to kill me there. And as you see, the more damage you do to the actual boss, these little eyeball dudes spawn down here now. If you're gonna kill any of them, just take out one, because if you take them both out, it's gonna just respawn them both, right? So, I went ahead and finally used that Mega Health, and I'm getting real damage, finally, because I acted like I wasn't going to be looking at him. I acted like I didn't know he was gonna be right there. So he stayed, thankfully. Every time I aim at the guy, he just fucking teleports. So that's why I'm saying, like, act like you don't see him going somewhere and then just snap to him. Fight him out like that. And if you fall down here, get the hell back up. Try to stay away from the Bloodmaker if you can, because he's the biggest nuisance of this fight. If you can, just focus the boss. But if the Bloodmaker shows up, don't ignore him. Because if you ignore him, he could easily kill you like he almost did me there. Doing that, though, Pain Elemental, fucking Dread Knight, both possessed. I recommend you fucking BFG the hell out of that Pain Elemental. You could Arbalest him, as you see me going for here, but let's be real. You want to hit him as hard as you can, as fast as you can, BFG is going to do it. Even though you've killed him, it will spawn another Pain Elemental, right? So, you want to get rid of the Dread Knight as quick as you can. Same fucking path. And as you can see, I'm stuck in kind of not the best area on a portal. figured it would be hell if I didn't get this done quickly, but I managed to get the goddamn spirit. We managed that shit. That boss fight fucking sucks. If you managed to do it, fucking good on you. That shit was brutal, man. Godspeed.